Hey everybody, Scott Spritzer, Tony George. It is our 10 and 10 for this upcoming week. We got 5 college football games, 5 from the NFL. That includes Sunday Night Football, so stick around for all of that. First, quick note, hey, you know the deal over at DocSports.com, and if you're a first-time viewer, check this out. If you've never been a member at DocSports.com and want a $60 free account, a trial run, consider it the best trial run you can get. All you got to do is click on the link below this video, get yourself set up for a free $60 account. It comes with the DocSports.com guarantee, or go to the homepage, follow the homepage directions. Again, a free $60 account to be used on any of our daily packages over at DocSports.com. And hey, if you got something to say about the videos, leave a comment. We'll definitely get back to you. It's right below the video, as always. All right, Tony, let's get to it. Let's start in the Big 12. Iowa State laying 2.5 at the Baylor Bears in Waco. I'll tell you what, I was impressed with the Cyclones coming off the close loss to Iowa. They whacked UL Monroe as a 17-point favorite, 72-20, and they've got a real nice 9-3-1 road spread run heading to Waco.
Yeah, and while they were making a convincing win against UL Monroe, Baylor was struggling with Rice.
Absolutely.
Campbell's a great coach for Iowa State. This team should be undefeated. If it wasn't for that special teams debacle on the punt against Iowa after the game was delayed half the day because of the rainstorm, just a crazy day in Ames, Iowa there. I really think Iowa State would be undefeated here. Of course, we have the best quarterback and the best coach in this game, all on the side of the Cyclones. A little bit of a twister headed down to Waco this week for the Baylor Bears.
Yeah, Baylor's not been great. 3-8 against the spread, their last 11 at home.
Another Big 12 game here. Kansas State, Oklahoma State. One word comes to mind here, Scott. 2 words, actually. Scheduling spot. Kansas State, let me tell you something. You thought they might regress. You thought they might take a step back with Bill Snyder stepping down after 25, 30-year tenure there. One of the best underdog coaches in all of college football. Turn that program around. In steps Chris Kleinman. He was 69-6 at North Dakota State, 4 national titles. And last time they played a game, guess what? I had them against Mississippi State plus the 7-1 outright. They had a bye week, Scott, and Oklahoma State was down in Austin battling out the border war there against Texas last week.
It's a tough spot for Oklahoma State. As Tony just said, Kansas State knocks off an SEC opponent on the road last time. I had them also. A good thing when we think alike, huh?
Yeah.
And so a nice win there. But I'll tell you what, K-State 22-9-1 spread run on the road against teams with a winning home record. This Kleinman staff, this coaching staff that Tony just mentioned was at North Dakota State, one of the best under-the-radar hires we've seen in the last decade in college football. Speeds up this offense, Tony.
Yeah, and Thompson, by the way, great dual-threat quarterback. And they're catching 5. Can you read between the lines? What we got next, Scott?
We've got Virginia Notre Dame, where the Irish are laying 11.5 under the Golden Dome. And I'll tell you what, fresh off that loss to Georgia between the hedges, they lost straight up. They did cover the point spread number. Here's the problem with me, or for me, with Notre Dame. I'm a little shaky, a little nervous, I guess, when I see Ian Book dropping back this year, the quarterback for the Irish. We saw him show a lack of confidence in Game 1 against Louisville, and again last week we saw him struggle a little bit at times against the Georgia Bulldogs. That's the one fly in the ointment for the Irish this season. We'll see if he can come through and hang this, or win, or cover this big number against the Cavaliers on Saturday.
11.5. This is going to really piss off our cameraman, Mark here. He's a big Irish guy. But at the end of the day, who's the best quarterback in this game? Perkins.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Perkins. You've seen this Perkins kid play? I know they struggled against ODU. They had Florida State the week before that, and they won that game. They didn't cover, but they won that game against Florida State. Now, ODU, little bit of a sandwich spot here. They're looking ahead to Notre Dame. 11.5 points might be a bit too much coming off that big emotional loss, Scott. Let's switch gears to the Pac-12, and I believe it's time for a double boom boom, because last week not only was this our free pick on the show, my 7-unit winner, boom,
7-unit winner over here, baby.
Boom,
them both.
Getting them done. They're taking on USC last week, who got outgained by Utah, Scott, by 76 yards. Their quarterback goes down in the first couple of series of the game. They bring in a third stringer, and they knock off, I think, number 10 Utah. And now they have to travel to Washington. Now, Washington just waxed BYU last week, a team that beat USC a couple weeks ago, and they looked very convincing doing it. I thought Eason played maybe one of his best games he's played in quite some time here, but they're laying 10 in Seattle here total 59. Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, be nice to Mark. His Cubbies just took a 4-game sweep at the hands of somebody's Cardinals. Who was that? So we got to be nice to Mark. And they were all 1-run defeats, so I don't want to be too tough on Mark. He is the cameraman after all.
Yes, he is.
But as far as Washington's concerned, 3 out of 4 games this year, they've scored 45 or more. They had the clunker against Cal. I was actually at a UNLV game that night. Got home about 11 o'clock at night. They were still in the second quarter because of the big weather delay. And it looked like it just flattened out Washington. There was no emotion. Everybody in the stands had basically gone home. There was no home field advantage. And Cal's got a pretty darn good defense. In this game, boy, 10 does feel a little bit expensive, Tony. Hey, we got a game that we're looking at.
Yeah.
In our homeland. It is game day also, by the way, for the Lincoln, Nebraska Cornhuskers. ESPN Game Day will be there. Ohio State on the road to the Huskers. Ohio State laying as much as 18, Tony. Let me tell you this much. I make my lines a week in advance, Thursday before the weekend, before Nebraska played Illinois, before Ohio State won last weekend. My line was actually 15. It is now up to 18, but I got to decide if Nebraska can block on the interior before I can take those points against this machine.
690 yards. I got a text late night from Mr. Spreitzer at my house. Couple of Nebraska
That's
boys
right.
here. 690 yards to 299, and the game was in doubt till the bell rang.
They almost lost
against Nebraska. 4 turnovers. I will tell you this much. Last year, the number was 17. In Columbus,
Right. Nebraska
had a 21-16 halftime lead, and they lost by 5 points in that game to what I thought was maybe a better version of Ohio State with Haskins at quarterback than it is with
Haskins.
Fields. This is a tough call here. College game day curse. My brother-in-law, I'm going to give him a shout out, Doug DeBolt, called Nebraska as a winner here, easy point spread winner. And he never wins a game, so I can only go Ohio State. But, Scott, I would only feel comfortable taking Nebraska with the turnovers and penalties if they were getting 21 plus 3 TDs here. So it's either lay it or just watch it as a fan for me in this one.
Best thing that happened to them last week is Wan'Dale Robinson, the young kid who was originally committed, I think, to Kentucky.
Yeah.
Football player of the year down there a couple years ago, changed his mind, went to Nebraska. Good thing for the Huskers. He did kind of change the pace of that game last week in a positive sense for them. Off to the NFL, correct?
Yeah.
We got the Browns and the Ravens.
Browns and
laying
Ravens.
7, Tony.
Nice winner for me on the Rams Sunday night. Saved me a nice 3-1 Sunday. I was sweating that one out. But as I had stated many times, Kitchens still is calling a horrible game plan. I still think they're undisciplined. I still think they're poorly coached. Now, speaking of poorly coached, Harbaugh, last week, if he'd have ran Ingram against Kansas City, they'd have won.
A little bit more because he was running well.
He was running very well. They had no answer for him. I don't know about the. You think Harbaugh's a better coach? You think. You know what? This game, the line to me seems a little high. Honestly, in this game here, Cleveland 303 yards per game, and of course the Ravens are putting up 511, but the Browns only allowing 315. I think both will air it out a little bit here. 46 is the number here.
Sure.
I think they'll play a lot better against the Ravens than they did the Rams, especially with the air raid game here. I think maybe you might see a little bit of a score fest here.
Battle of overvalued quarterbacks, though. That's what scares the heck out of me. We saw Lamar last week after getting praised against nobodies, go 22 for 43. A couple of those completions where 50-50 jump balls thrown downfield, his receivers went up and grabbed them. But, man, if you were going against the Browns on Sunday night, you had to be jumping up and down cheering when you saw them run a draw play on 4th and 9.
Boom! Great
the
play
Rams
call.
40 and gain a yard.
Thank you, Freddie Kitchens.
I'm telling you.
You know what? The one thing, too, in this game real quick, and we're going to run past the 10 and 10 by a minute or so, but if Lamar Jackson and that struggled against Kansas City secondary and pass rush, he's really going to struggle against, because the Browns defense is for real. They made Goff look like an average quarterback on Sunday night here. Speaking of the Chiefs, here they are. They're on the road taking on the Lions. Big upset win for the Lions last week. I had it in my circuit contest. By the way, I went 5-0 in the circuit
5-0
contest.
the Westgate.
Boom, there you go. 4-1 there with the Docs. Shout out to Todd, the guy who won the Doc Sports giveaway with 4-1.
Nice.
Listen to me next time I tell you to fade the 49ers, Todd. But
God, we had a lot of games alike. We didn't even talk last week at Pittsburgh also. I love that spot. They shouldn't have covered, but we did. We take them and run when we play games that won and didn't, and maybe shouldn't have, Tony.
Exactly. And I tell you what, here there's a couple of mismatches here in this game, and if you could run against Kansas City Chiefs, you can contain them. That keeps each clock, keeps Mahomie and all the boys off the field here. I just think Andy Reid's going to outcoach Patricia in this game, and also Kansas City, Scott, 9-2 their last 11 on the road.
Well, here's what I'm going to tell it. I'll make it quick. I'm going to just say this. This is the first half of my free pick this week on the 10 and 10. I'm going to tease the Chiefs down to pick them, and I'll tell you who I'm teasing them with after that. 500 yards, 8 yards per carry last week. Not per carry, but per play last week against the Ravens.
They always call me Tony the Teaser. Now I got Scott the Teaser. I'm wearing off, man. Patriots, Bills last week, Scott. I had them as in a teaser, actually. I needed that last drive. Josh Allen has been phenomenal, but here's the bad news. The Bills are 3-0. That's bad news. You want to know why they're playing the Patriots? They played the Giants, Jets, and the Bungles so far to get to 3-0 here. But the one thing that you're not hearing, you heard a lot of Antonio Brown, Tom Brady playing at age 40, whatever, 42 now or whatever it is. But the defense of the Patriots is the story. They have not allowed a touchdown since the AFC Championship last year against Kansas City at Arrowhead. No TDs at all, Scott. This defense is playing lights out.
I love New England as always. 201, 136 against the spread under Bill. But they're 59.5% winners against the spread since Bill Belichick has been there. That's ridiculous. As far as what you're talking about, it'll be a little bit more of a test this week because they played absolutely nobody, but I trust in Bill. I don't know why head coaches, when they get jobs, they just don't go watching what he's done for the past 15, 20 years and just copy exactly everything he's done. Second half of my teaser, Tony, it's the Vikings at the Bears. We are going to tease those Minnesota Vikings up to 8.5. We're going to tie them to Kansas City as a pick. That's my free pick this week on the 10 and 10.
I can't argue. I can't argue at all. I can't argue. My free pick's
I'll be glad to hear it.
My free pick's going to take Virginia plus the 11.5. I can't argue that. Matter of fact, let me see if I got this right on your teaser. You're teasing the Vikings to plus 9. Or 8.5. So you're getting them through 3, you're getting them through 6, you're getting them through 7. All 3 key numbers. That's called a value teaser bet, by the way, I might add, folks, for those of you playing the home game. But your team you're teasing has a better coach, better quarterback, better running back, and a damn good defense. And, the Bears on a short week as well, playing on Monday night, traveling back home. That's it.
We're going to have the Bears on Monday night, Tony. Trubisky scared the heck out of me after he threw that pick at the goal line, blows a 28-3 lead. Next thing you know, it's 28-15. The other team's driving. Thank you, Case Keenum, for being a bad quarterback and fumbled the ball at the 15-yard line of Chicago and making me breathe a little bit easier. You shouldn't blow 28-3 leads, laying just a few points, and that's what they almost did, spread-wise, I should say. But again, they did get the cover for us on Monday night. But we'll tease Vikings up to 8.5. KC pick them.
Well, you got a couple free plays there, some leans, folks. And by the way, the marquee matchup this week is going to be the Cowboys and the Saints. Saints at home catch a 2.5, total 46.5. Tune into the marquee matchup. We'll give you a free lean in that one. Thanks for tuning in to the 10 and 10. For Mr. Teaser, Scott Spreitzer, I'm Tony George. Have a great weekend. Get over to Docs and check us out.